Today on Season of War, Ridge takes a break from the revelries as the Hedonites of Slaanesh get ready to fight, and Jordan's Idoneth Deepkin prepare to crash in an unstoppable tide. Shalaxi Hellbane leads a Seeker cavalcade force, which allows Slaaneshi cavalry units to still charge when they retreat. A Shard Speaker of Slaanesh follows the Greater Demon as a celebrity warlord, and bears the icon of infinite excess. Following their champions, a mix of mortal and demon units takes the field, highlighted by reinforced units of Slickblade Seekers, Blissbarb Archers, and Damonettes. Across the battlefield, an Eidolon of the Sea leads an Achillean Beastmaster's force, benefiting the elves' monstrous companions with increased accuracy. Mathaela, the Oracle of the Abyss, makes her debut, though with her present state of undress, she'll be represented by an alternate hero. Also taking to the battlefield are 2 squads of Namarti Reavers, while a cavalry formation of 2 reinforced units of Morsar Guard stick close to an Achillean Leviathan to make use of its defenses. These 2 forces will fight over the life cycle battle plan, which awards 4 points for 1 objective and 2 for controlling more objectives than your opponent. 4 points are also scored for holding both central objectives, though in the second battle round, the underdog will choose one of them to be the primary objective. The primary objective will award 2 points, but rotates clockwise each round, while the objectives closest to it will be worth 1 point each. With these 2 forces ready to clash, let's head to the battlefield, for this is the Season of War.
This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Today's battle showcases beautiful thematic dice from Baron of Dice. Grab your own or get a custom set made at baronofdice.com.
All right, Ridge, we're about to get into things, and I am excited to play the new Idoneth Deepkin book, but I just want to mention that we did get early access to the book from Games Workshop, so we super appreciate that, but just a heads up there. And while I've got a bunch of the new stuff built, we didn't get it all painted. So I'm running an alternate model for Mathaela today, and my Incarnate of the Deep is going to be quite pale today.
It's an albino incarnate.
Yes. But then into the battle, I did outdrop you here. We were both 2 drops, but I won the roll-off to be able to deploy first. And for my 2 battle tactics, the first one is Scouting Force, so I have to have 3 units outside of my territory for the first part of that one. And then I have Wrathful Cycles, which I just have to control more objectives than you.
For me, I took a tune to Gairan, so I pretty much just need to seize the center and have 2 units within 3 of the center. And then secondly, I took for the first time Intercept and Recover, so you're going to have to choose 3 treasure units.
All right, well, we're going to put 1 on the Turtle, 1 on the Eidolon, and 1 on Mathaela, because we want to keep her alive.
And then I got to give a quick shout out to our boys in Denmark. Christoph, I got the headband on, so thanks for that. And we're rocking Yannick's jersey. Finally not in a suit like I always am after work. I'm here on a day off, so yeah.
All right, and with that, Ridge, I'm gonna give you first turn because I'm a little nervous. Always, trying a new book out, but let's jump into Hedonites of Slaanesh, turn 1.
Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna start with my Euphoric Killers. I'm just gonna give 1 to the Blissbarb Archers.
Okay, so I did a Slaanesh die.
You do. And then I will jump into casting. So we're first going to go for the Ravanax Gnashing Jaws from Shalaxi. And she's going to start with a miscast. All right. And we're going to take 3. Okay, here we go. Wards. All right, we're taking 3 wounds. Good start, Shalaxi. And then trying to do a little bit better casting here with the Shard Speaker, we will go for the Life Swarm, which we do get off on an 8.
And I'll try to unbind with the Eidolon. We did a 9.
Oh. Okay, well, I didn't get the Life Storm off, so I'm going to rally Shalaxi now, actually, and she'll heal back to full.
And I will spend a command point here in your hero phase for magical intervention with the Eidolon, and I'm going to try and summon my Incarnate of the Deep. That's going to be a 9 because I get +1.
Okay, so we're looking for a 10. No, you got it.
Beautiful. And since it's out, I do get to try and summon a Tendril. I did a 4+, so I'm getting one of the little tentacles.
Sounds good. I will go into my movement phase. That's my movement. All right, so we're gonna start shooting. All of the Blissbarb Seekers are in range of your nice new albino incarnate, so they're all gonna shoot into him. 3s, looks like 6 at Ren 2 because you're on an objective that I do not control.
6s, we don't save any, then wards, we don't save any.
All right, we're gonna go for the all-out attack, and then the 10 Blissbarbs that are in are gonna put everything into the incarnate as well. So we're gonna be 2s with exploding 6s because they are euphoric. So that is going to be 9 at Ren 1.
All right, 5s. We made a bunch of saves here. And 6s, no wards though, so I'll take 4 more, 10 damage on him.
Sweet, okay, that's gonna be the rest of my turn. Yeah, pretty conservative turn, although all up in your face in the middle, which is kind of scary, but yeah, the thought is I have quite a bit of things that can hit you if you come into my lines here. And I'm probably not going to get these, well, I guess maybe later in the game I could, but I just wanted to get the first level of Attuned to Gairan. So we got that, took a bunch of shots at the new incarnate, tried to take him down, but came close.
Yeah, so you'll get the full primary here, 4 for 1, 2 for 2, and then you hold the 2 outside objectives, which are another 4 points this round, plus 5 for your tactic. That's 15-point turn 1.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll jump into an Idoneth Deepkin turn 1. All right, so getting into my turn, I am going to have my Eidolon try and cast the teleport spell onto Mathala. And that'll go off with an 11.
All right, I have 3 unbind, so I might as well try for the 12. Nope.
And then Mathala is going to cast her War Scroll spell, Crushing Pressure, onto Shalaxi. And we're to get that off with an 8.
All right, let's see if I can unbind it. No, you got it.
All right, so I did your wounds characteristic in dice, which is 16 dice, and we'd have 4 mortal wounds. So that'll be 7 mortal wounds onto her.
Nice. We will have the ward save. I will only make 1, so she's gonna take 6 damage.
And then I guess the Eidolon will just cast Pressure of the Deep onto your Seekers in the center. And that will go off with an 8.
You get it.
So 5 dice, 5 up mortals, 2 mortal wounds.
All right, 6 up board, no, 2 damage.
And then my Incarnate is going to try and summon another tentacle. I get +1 this turn, so it's on a 3 up, which I get.
Nice.
And these are stationary, so they can come nice and close.
Choosing the first tidal ability from the Tides of the Storm, Jordan gains the ability to teleport a single unit, but has decided not to use it.
And that's all my hero phase.
Because you were so mean to Shalaxi, I am gonna go for a rally here, and I'll heal back 3.
And I'll spend a command point here to auto-run one of my units of Reavers, so they'll be going 13 inches. And that's my movement. Just push in the middle.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the redeploy on the Demonettes, just to hopefully get lucky here. We roll a 4.
And then I'm gonna get into shooting, and I'm gonna start with the Reavers on the left, shooting into your Painbringers. And they'll get 11 shots at Rend 1.
So they're 3 up saves, so I'll go to 4s. So you're gonna kill 2.5.
And then the other unit of Reavers is going to split their shots between the Painbringers and your Seekers. So 2 into the Painbringers.
Make 1, take 1.
And the Seekers will have 8 attacks.
So you will do 5 damage, which will kill 2 and a wound.
And then I'm going to have Mathala put her 18-inch shots into your Blissbarb archers. So 3s, because she's 2's base. That'll be 2 at Rend 1, and D3 damage each for 3.
All right, you're gonna kill 3.
And then lastly, the Eidolon of the Sea will target your Blissbarb Seekers. 1 at Rend 2 for 2 damage. And that's all my shooting, so I'm going to get into charges, and we'll start off with the eels in the center. That's an 8. And then we're gonna get to do our impact mortals with our eels. So we'll go in the center first. I no longer get D3 mortals on a 6, but it's a 3 up mortal base. and I would get +1 if you're more models, but we're to put the 6 eels shots into the Bliss Barb Seekers. And that's gonna be 3 mortal wounds.
Okay, you kill 1.
And then the unit on the right into the Demonettes. I will be getting +1 here, so that's gonna be 6 mortal wounds. And then into combat, we have some abilities with the manifestation. So the tentacle is going to try and ensnare your Bliss Barb Seekers. It will.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, you don't have any CP, but they wouldn't be able to use commands now. And I get +1 hit with that tentacle against them. And Methala is going to give out her buff in combat, which is only going to affect my Morsar here, but it is +1 attack to companions. So I'm going to just start off combat over on the right side with these Morsar into your Demonettes. And we'll start off with the Riders. And we'll get 4 here at run 2 for 8 damage so far. And then the Mounts, they'll have 7 through at rend 1. And they'll do 16 damage, so that's 24 damage in total from the Eels.
Okay. Need a lot of 6s here. Nope, they're dead.
The Seekers in the center fight next, but are unable to bring down a Morsar guard.
And my Eels in the center are going to spend a command point for all-out attack and split their attacks between your 2 units of cavalry here. So 23 from 3 Morsar, and then the back 3 into your Seekers. So the Riders will do 4 damage with their spears, and they will do 10 damage there with the Mounts, so 14 total.
And 6 aboard. Make it, well, 3, but still they're taking 11 and going down.
And that'll wrap up IDK turn 1, and I sadly don't have anything to use my last CP on because I have nothing in combat to power through off of. And the obvious caveat is I'm going into stuff with very low saves, but we saw a ton of damage out of both units of Morsar. Obviously, again, prime targets. The mortal wounds is a little bit more reliable on the charge, but not as high of potential. But over here, Methala's buff with the +1 attacks on the Eels, just sent these guys to the next level. Even though I did go for the all-out attack, I would have been +1 hit on the Mounts anyways. And having them up to 4 attacks each on those Eels is amazing. Now I'm running the Turtle here. It's not as efficient on him as it is the Eels, but having an extra attack with him is deadly as well. And Ridge, I will take the outer 2 objectives, which will store me 10 points on primary. And then looking at tactics, I will actually store both of them here. With Scouting Force, I have my 2 cavalry and my Reavers all wholly outside my territory. And then I do hold more objectives for you for Wrathful Cycles. So I'll get the first step of that tactic as well. So up to 20 points, not a bad start at all. And Ridge, we're all out of combat. But
all been part of my plan.
Yeah, priority for round 2.
Just win turn 2 prio.
That's a 1 for me.
That's all you got to do. So I'm obviously going to take the turn here, and we'll go to Hedonites of Slaanesh turn 2. So for Underdog, I get to choose where it's going to start, red or green. And normally you would probably want to go with the red, so it would be my home next. But in this situation, I want to push more to this side, so I am going to actually choose the green one.
So that'll be the primary. It's worth 2.
Yep.
The ones next to it are worth 1 each.
Yeah. Okay, so starting with Euphoric, that's an easy one. I'm going to obviously choose my 10 Slickblade Seekers, Shalaxi, and the Bliss Barbs. And Jordan's going to get 3 Slaanesh dice. Okay, so first the Shard Speaker is going to cast the +1 to wound spell, and they're going to cast that onto the Eels in the middle. We're going to get that on an 8.
We'll go for the Unbind, but fail.
All right, and then next we are going to go with Shalaxi. She is going to cast the Life Swarm. We're going to get that on a 9.
And I roll an 8, so yep, all yours.
And then lastly, we're going to go for the Ravanax Gnashing Jaws from Shalaxi as well, which we get on an 8.
And I fail to unbind it.
All right. Okay, so we are going to give the Slick Blades are going to take D3 for 3, and they are going to get +1 to wound from the Thane. Yeah, we'll just try to rally the archers, the Bliss Barbs, and we are going to get all 3 back.
And then I am going to go for a command point for Magical Intervention with my Eidolon. He's going to use his heroic trait where once per battle he gets +2 to cast. So using that here as I try and cast the Steed of Tides onto this unit of Morsar Guard. So it's the teleport. I'll be +3 to this now. An 8 -1 is a 7.
Nice, okay, so I need a big 8. Nope, you got it.
All right, so we're getting these eels out of dodge. And then my Incarnate is going to use its ability. I have 2 tentacles out, so that's the max, but I'm on a 4, but I actually could remove 1, which I fail. And then I am going to declare the use of Inexorable Tide. So this one's going to make my army reduce rend by 1 of incoming attacks. So a little bit more defensive, but that'll last the round.
Sweet. All right, with that, I will jump into my movement phase. So to start, I'm gonna heal 3 from the life swarm. And now I'll use the new heroic trait, Celebrity Something, where the Shard Speaker can bring back a Cyberite unit at half strength for a CP. More recursion in this game. Who cares? It's great. Alrighty, so that is going to be my movement phase.
And I will spend a command point here to redeploy my Eidolon for 2 inches.
All right, so first in the shooting phase, before I forget, the Shard Speaker is going to do his other most important task, which is the 4-up -1 to save. He's going to give that to the eels directly in front of him. And he's going to fail. All right, the Blissbarb Seekers are going to first go into the eels. We will be 3s and 3s now because they are +1 to wound. All right, so that's 2.
And since I reduced rend by 1, I'm going to make both those saves.
All right, we are gonna go now with the Blissbarb Archers, and we are putting everything into the 6 Morsar in front of the turtle. All right, so 3s, exploding 6s. That'll be 14 at no rend because you reduce it.
So 4-up saves, 3 go through, and 5 awards. We'll ward 1, take 2.
All right, well, this game does not want me to do anything. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go into charges. So I'm gonna first charge with the Blissbarb or Slickblade Seekers, and we're gonna roll 6.
And then I do have the Rampage with the Eidolon, which on a 3-up is going to stop your Slickblades from using commands. Nice. Which we roll the 2.
I was gonna say, you're just gonna fail it anyways. Yeah. All right, so we just have Shalaxi. She's obviously gonna go for the excess of violence here, make the Slickblade Seekers fight twice.
And then I'm gonna have Mathala use her ability to give +1 attack to companion weapons. She pitched 3 units, and she's gonna pitch my 2 units of eels and turtle, just in case they get in. And then the tentacles are going to try and mess you up. One of them, no commands on the Slickblades, fails.
All right, so we are gonna go first with the Slickblade Seekers. I'm gonna go for the all-out attack. There are gonna be 6 going into the Eidolon and 2 going into the Incarnate. All right, so first we're gonna go into the Incarnate. So we're gonna be hitting on 2s with exploding 6s.
They go through, and you take them down.
So then the other 6 into the Eidolon, same thing. We're gonna be on 2s. That will be 10. All right, so that's 6 damage.
2 go through, 1 damage each, so 8 damage total.
Yep.
We'll do our ward. We'll only save 1, so the Eidolon takes 7.
All right.
And then I'll go with the eels in the center, putting all their attacks into Shalaxi.
I will go for the all-out defense here.
So the riders would have 4 here at rend 1.
I take 2.
And then the eels. And they'll get 12 attacks through with the eels.
So we will be on 4s. I'm gonna take 7d3 damage. And
that's gonna hurt. That's gonna be 18 damage.
All right, well, we need to make a couple of board saves here. 5-up board save. At least I'm alive. So I will take 10 damage.
Next, the chariot deals 1 damage to the eels before the Eidolon brings down a Slickblade Seeker. Then 2 Painbringers take out 3 Reavers before one of them falls as well.
Finally, we're gonna get to Shalaxi. She is perfectly bracketed.
And I will go for all-out defense here.
So this is going to be 2s. So that'll be 4. So then this is the claws. So they're gonna be 3s because I'm not +1. So 1 at rend 2.
And I will use some Slaanesh die here for the saves. I'm gonna use 1 against the claws. So as long as I don't roll a 1 or 2. Nope, so we will save the claw. And then I'll use 2 more against her big weapon, or her weapon, 1 of which fails. And we fail both the other ones. So it's gonna be 9 damage plus D3 for 10 total. But we do have wards. We'll ward 2, you will kill 2 eels.
All right, so I was only able to get 4 of the Slick Blades now in the second activation. That's all I was able to get into the Eidolon here. So we're gonna be hitting on 3s, exploding. So that'll be 6.
No Ren, so I will take 1.
Okay, that's 2 damage. And that'll be 6 more from the mounts.
1 of which I fail, so 3 damage total. We'll have wards. We failed them all, so I'm up to 10 taken.
All right, that's gonna be the end of my turn. Yeah, not being able to kill things as much as I thought I was going to be able to.
Yeah, the reducing Ren by 1 is just a massive ability.
Crazy good, yeah. And then the 5-up board with the eels as well. Even with that, I still think I should do more damage than that, but you know,
a lot of the times I was on 3 or 4 up saves, so those are swingy.
Yeah.
Spike them in the right place. I also was able to use a couple Slaanesh dice to prevent some damage.
Save the claws, yeah. Yeah, and then all the shooting as well. Like I didn't even kill an eel with full bliss barbs into there, which still, again, they're lessening Ren by 1, but still it's a 4-up. So Slaanesh not killing is not good because I don't have great saves, but we'll see if I can weather the storm. There's a lot of wounds there. I'm still gonna score the primary because I made it over here, and I do have 1 guy there still. I just will not hold more. So I'm gonna score 1, 2, 3 for my own point, and then 4 for holding 1 for 7. And then I definitely didn't retreat 2 and charge 2, and I didn't kill any treasures. So that's just gonna be a straight up 7.
All right, well, we'll get the chance to clap back now, and let's jump into Idoneth Deepkin, turn 2.
Shalaxi's gonna activate that place of power to try to heal herself. I fail, god damn it. Okay, and we just thought we remembered this correctly, and everything within 6 of the places of power now are going to take a mortal wound.
Yes, because you rolled the 1.
The explosion of arcane energy is felt by both armies, as 9 mortal wounds are dealt, and each force suffers casualties.
So we took 9 mortal wounds there between us.
Yeah.
Good job, Rich.
Yeah, hey, at least I can do something.
All right, on my turn, I'm gonna start off with Mithala. She's going to try and cast Crushing Pressure onto Shalaxi.
No.
That's gonna fail on a 3. And then the Eidolon's going to try and cast Tsunami of Terror. That will go off on a 7.
I unbind it on an 8.
And then we'll try Pressure of the Deep onto your Bliss Barbs.
All right.
And that'll go off with an 8.
Okay, I'll try to unbind. I do not.
So 20 dice. That'll be 6 mortal wounds. All right, then into movement. And that'll be my movement. And then into shooting, I'm gonna start off with these Reavers over here into your little dude. That'll be 5 attacks at rend 1.
All right, he needs all 4-ups. He dies.
Then we'll go with the Leviathan's Harpoons into Shalaxi. That'll be 4 at rend 2 because they're anti-monster.
Come on. Okay, rend 2, so I'm gonna be 6s. That's
3 damage each for 12.
This is fine. Just need to make 6 5-ups. No.
5, very
dead.
close, but yeah, we harpooned the big girl. And then my other unit of Reavers is going to target the Slick Blades. And we'll get 8 through at rend 1.
Kill 2's clean.
Then we'll have Mithaila's shots into your chariot. 2s, I'll hit. 4s, 2 wounds at rend 1 for 3 damage.
All right, I'm gonna spend my last CP for covering fire with the Bliss Barb Archers just because I hate these eels so much. All right, so this is into the eels. Ooh, baby, finally. 19.
All right, 4-up save and 5-up ward. You're gonna do 6 damage, kill an eel and a half. And then we're into charges. We'll start with the turtle. Makes a 4. And the eels. And they'll get to do their mortal wounds on 2-ups for 3. And that's all my charges. So into combat, we're going to use Mithala to give out +1 attack to companions to my 2 units of eels and my turtle. And we're gonna start off with my Morsar Guard, putting all their attacks into your Slick Blades. So the riders first. And we'll do 11 damage here, so that's gonna be 13 total.
All right, the 2 Slick Blades are going to try to finish off the Eidolon to get some glory, and we are still +1 to wound from the Thane for my turn. So this will be 3s. 4 at rend 1.
I'm still reducing your rend, so it's going to be on 3s, but 3 go through.
Nice. Just 1 from the mount.
Which does go through, so 4 damage. Got to make 3 of these ward saves.
Come on, die!
When you make 1, he does go down. So you take out the Eidolon, and you will, on your next turn, get a treasure.
Woohoo!
Next, the 2 eels in the center finish off the chariot, and the Leviathan tries to bring down the last 2 Slick Blades.
And I might as well go for all-out attack. 6 mortals, and 4 at rend 2 for 12 more damage, so 18 damage there from the jaws and fins.
Okay.
And that's going to wrap up Idoneth turn 2, and obviously it's been a pretty bloody battle, like we've seen a bunch lately, but here I actually lost the Eidolon as well on my turn, which was a little disappointing, but we did finish off Shalaxi, took down your Slick Blades and your chariot, as well as the 1 die over here. But I'm not going to score super well. I will only get 1 point for this objective and 4 for holding 1 for 5 points. No tactics this turn, but I will still maintain a 3-point lead, 25 to 22, and we can go into priority for round 3.
You got it.
That's a 5 ridge, so we're going to take the turn, jump into Idoneth turn 3. All right, I'm going to start with Mithaela trying to summon the Incarnate again. She's going to fail that. And then I will spend a command point to rally my Reavers. And we'll get 3 back. Then it's just into movement. And that's my movement, so we'll get into shooting, and I'm going to start off with one of my units of Reavers into your Bliss Barbs. And they'll get 7 attacks through, so 7 damage. And then we'll target them with the other unit of Reavers as well. And they'll get 5 more shots through. And Mithaela will shoot at your hero, getting 2 through at rend 1.
She saves both.
All right, then the turtle is going to shoot at your Bliss Barb Seekers. 3 go through for 9 damage. And then we're going to jump into some charges. We'll go with the turtle first. Makes a 4. And then we'll do the shots from the eels into your Bliss Barb Seeker. That's going to be 6 mortal wounds.
Nice.
And the turtle is going to try and chomp your little hero. I'm going to fail it because I needed a 3-up. But because I did strikes first again for my tide this turn, I'm going to get to attack with both. I should be able to finish off the last hero in Bliss Barb.
I hope so.
So just to count out the turn, I'll get the primary points for 10 here to hold the objectives. So it turns out when you have 2 like glass hammer or glass cannon armies that it makes for a pretty quick game of Warhammer.
Yeah.
And just to be fair, I wasn't actually that much of a glass hammer to begin with, or glass cannon.
Yeah, the new defensive tides worked very well. Lessening the rend by 1 and staying around the turtle was very good. That pretty much bounced off your turn 2, so. Yeah,
obviously the ward from the turtle is still great, but yeah, as you said, having the reducing rend. Now I feel like in hindsight, this is like, really punish Slaanesh because they've got a lot of rend 1, so the kind of death by 1,000 cuts wasn't as effective. I was, making 3-up, 4-up saves, and then having a 5-up ward was really solid. And on the offense, I was able to rip through your, pretty poor saves as well.
Yeah, it's both similar style of army, like with all the Slick Blades, pretty fast. Shalaxi didn't really get to do too much. I don't know. I feel like I could have played a little bit more defensive at the beginning and not let you come into me immediately. But I figured turn 2, turn 3, double prio, like that's going to be super important for who does the damage, who gets into who.
And a big thing here was having won the roll off and dropped first.
Yeah.
So I had choice of who goes first, give away the turn, obviously always puts you in a precarious position when you're potentially facing a double.
Yeah, which I was just hoping that when I won 2 prio, which I did, I was going to be able to do enough damage, which if you didn't have the ward or didn't have that lesson rend,
Yeah, so really
I could have killed
showcasing
enough of that stuff that it wouldn't have been the other way.
Yeah.
Or not the other way, but I would have probably killed
taking a
enough.
bigger advantage.
Just mainly the eels. The turtle ended up doing actually harpooning all 4 into Shalaxi. Just, yeah.
And then finishing off the slick blades, yeah.
Yeah, and then they rolled really well against her. So, yeah, it was crazy to see the defensive side, which I know some of the turtle lists have already been a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, harder to go into.
Nothing like this where, yeah, lessening rend by 1 or having -1 to hit or some of the other like utility you can do.
Yeah, the tide mechanic obviously has changed a lot. Obviously the 3 more offensive ones you can only do on your turn. They don't last for the full round anymore. That was obviously kind of a big defense for Deepkin before, was being able to strike first even if you like lost a prio, but now you get to just make your opponent less effective. So I guess it gives them the chance to still get into you, but they're not doing as much when they do. And obviously, like with Fire Slayers, that is a big challenge and learning curve of the army, is picking the right runes at the right time, and Deepkin's going to be the same. Hopefully we'll have better luck with the fish, because I've always been horrible with Fire Slayers.
That's why
despite my efforts. Yeah. But here, obviously, as we saw, I'm at home with the tides, so yeah, being able to dictate these is obviously panned out well here.
Yeah, I played Slaanesh a little bit last edition, but just on the channel and for fun. I haven't really played as much of this, I guess not full cavalry, a bit of a mix of both. And they seem like they are a fun army. Fast, they can get run charge. They kind of do a little bit of everything, lots of shooting.
I always say they're basically an elf army.
Yeah, pretty much. They are glass though, so it is one of those ones that if you get hit first or you bounce off like I did in turn 2 there, then there's no forgive.
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna die.
And what they suffer from this book, this edition, was lessened rend from what they used to have, so it's harder at times to chew through stuff.
Yes. And the 1 command trait was actually really cool though. I feel like that's a good quality of life improvement. Like I said earlier, it's more recursion in this game, which people are already freaking out about. But bringing back a Cyberite unit they can never do that. It was
really
a demon
strong.
unit on a 4-up with the keeper. So now being able to bring that with, like, say, the shard speaker or something, that seemed good. And then I never used the +1 to attack. I could have gotten a better position if I kind of moved, maybe put the slick blades in the middle and then fought all in there and did that. But I didn't want Shalaxi on the outside. I wanted her to be able to be, I don't know. The way it worked out wasn't the best, but.
Yeah, obviously the way it worked out with taking a double, obviously always big, and like we said, with 2 armies that want to deal the hit and not take it, as everyone does, but can't take it. It's obviously very effective. But as we said, like you pointed out, the defenses here and the tides make Deepkin a little bit more tanky, it seems, or they can build to be more tanky than they have in the past.
Yeah, and it seems like you were saying at the beginning with the whole thralls, like a lot of the things are companions, a lot of them are non-companions, like the buffs, so you might see more people running thralls. Yeah,
that's one thing looking at the book overall, I would say, is there's a lot of like combat buffs out there. We saw Mathela's, Eidolon of the Storm has his, now the Akkelian King gives out an extra rend, but again, there's a big kind of split of what affects companions and what affects everything else. And are you building towards companions or are you building towards other stuff? So it's kind of awkward. Like Mathela is really good in this kind of Akkelian Beastmasters, mount focused or companion focused list. But something that's a little bit more balanced, she's not going to have the same value.
Yeah.
And similar with the Akkelian King, like I really wanted to run him to show his new ability for the extra rend, but he doesn't really benefit the eels themselves or the turtles. So
where the eels do
but
with Mathela's +1 attack, 4 eel attacks each is wild.
And an automatic +1, she's obviously pretty good,
with
as we saw.
That's
really
pretty
excited.
Good combo.
And that's where we went for the bit more defensive build with the turtle and the eels, so you can keep in her bubble and whatnot. But yeah, we'll wrap things up there. Big win for the Deepkin. Good debut for them for our channel member game here, but we'll have another game later this week. So look forward to more Deepkin action, because obviously I am excited to explore this book more, and we'll have a different build. But guys, no matter what, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching and all you do for the channel. And we look forward to seeing you in another battle report.
Have a good week, everyone.